heard of the bad guys? Mr. Wolf, Snake, Shark, Piranha, and Tarantula? Because if you haven't, you're really missing out. Missing out on their totally epic, completely unbelievable, mind-blowingly hilarious adventures through all of space and time. I'm talking saving the day, heavy metal overlords, royal alien zombie kittens, and loads of other amazing stuff you've never even seen before. Whew, you gotta love that, right? When the universe needs saving, the bad guys can be the best guys.
Aaron, good afternoon.
Hello. Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Jeff in Las Vegas. Thanks for joining me today.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Man, I'm excited to speak to you. I just love the bad guys, and I'm sure I'm one of millions of followers and admirers, so I appreciate your time today.
You're most welcome. Thanks for talking to me.
Well, tell me it's not true. Is this the final caper for the bad guys?
It is indeed. It is indeed. They're done, and it was planned this way. I mapped out the series years ago. I knew how it was going to end, and I knew there were 20. And and I'm not only done with the bad guys. I'm done. I'm finished writing books. Yeah, it's been amazing.
So you're just hanging up the whole profession altogether? Say it isn't so. There's no stories left in you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I the Bad Guys 20 and Cat on the Run 3, which is out next year. That finishes that series. This finishes the Bad Guys. And I wrote the books for my kids, and they're now 16 and 18. And it just sort of felt like this sort of magical window of time where I was writing directly for them when they were younger. And the bad guys extended past them, they kind of aged out, but I had the story plan finishing it. But yeah, it just felt like time. I felt like I'd done it. I'm enormously proud of the bad guys. I love what it is. And I love the fact that I think it continues to be consistently, like, it ups the stakes each time and sort of ends with a bang and then something really satisfying with this final episode. And yeah, I never wanted it to sort of diminish or get less cool. I wanted to make something awesome and drop the mic and leave the building. And that's what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Well, if you said that you pre-planned and did the stories for these 20 books in this series, did you have something maybe like an Easter egg or something that you put in your books that only you get, or it's an inside joke or something you might want to share?
It's full of little references and all kinds of things. I love, without, it's a bit of a spoiler, but there's one character who becomes incredibly central to the story by the end, but when they're introduced, like episode 5 or 6 or something, they seem really inconsequential. They don't talk. They just seem like a sideline thing, and they end up being the center of the whole series. I love that stuff. I loved playing games with how you can surprise kids, and the joy of the series in making it was the cliffhangers, because conventional wisdom to this point, I think everyone was a little nervous about it initially. For that age group, 6 to 12, people think you can't do a cliffhanger in a book series because kids will lose interest and they're not going to come back. And the bad guys delightfully proved that the opposite was the case. Kids were desperately waiting for those excruciating 6-month gaps to end so they could find out what happened next. And I loved, because I loved that when I was a kid, in whatever form that took. So I just had a feeling it would work. And I always loved that, trying to find the most dramatic way to leave kids tortured for half a year before they found out what happened next.
Oh my gosh.
Now, of course, kids can just binge read it. They can just, like now the next lot of kids that come through who discover the bad guys can just smash the whole thing over a weekend.
Well, as you know, The Bad Guys was a huge movie hit. Here's mine in my collection. Here's my 4K edition right here. So I assume the sequel's on its way for your last book?
Oh, the sequel, I saw the sequel the other day. It's not quite finished, but it's about 75, 80%. It is so good. They've topped the first film. They really have. It's so exciting. and equally it pays homage to the books all the way through it. There's kids who love and know the details of the books. There'll be tons of things that they see and get. A whole bunch of my other characters from the series have been introduced as new characters in the film series. It's mind blowing, and the team at DreamWorks are just so gorgeous. So like I got a lovely series of text messages yesterday of all the team at DreamWorks with their copies of episode 20, reading them outside in the DreamWorks campus. It's amazing. Really, is very cool.
You're not against maybe making more movies or a series with your books, with your characters?
Oh no! Oh, the movie thing is completely separate. So
yes. Okay. Good.
I don't know. Depending on the success of movie 2, I know that the whole team at DreamWorks, they want to make as many of these films as they can. They just love working with these characters because they're really fun. So look, I think the excitement at DreamWorks for the potential of the series. And you've got to remember, the first movie came out right in the heart of the pandemic. It was the worst possible timing and still did incredibly well at the box office given those circumstances. So I think the anticipation for next year is pretty high. Well, I don't think, from an author perspective, I couldn't have wished for anything better. Like, to truly love the film they've made of your books is something else.
That is so good to hear, because there's many stories of authors in Hollywood, of bad things happening, but you have glowing remarks and for them, so that's awesome to hear. Are you on planning a book tour for your last book here? Do you like to interact with the fans? Are you active with them, or?
No, I'm a little sort of shy in that respect, and again, because I live on the moon. I'm in the mountains outside of Sydney.
Oh my gosh!
So look, I suspect, because I'll definitely come to the States again for the movie in August next year, and I'm sure I'll do some stuff when I'm there. But yeah, no, I don't. I tend not to tour. I don't do appearances. I just sort of. I don't know. I've always liked the idea of just sort of letting the books do the talking, really. And they, to my delight, they have. I mean, I don't even have social media. I got no online presence of any kind. So,
well, this is proof you exist. I got proof you exist then, right here.
I got a website, but I don't post stuff. I don't know. I love the idea that I'd made something that had its own momentum, and when I actually looked on, I think it was Instagram recently, again, I was astonished at all this, just mountains and mountains and mountains of stuff connected to the bad guys and Pig the Pug and Thelma. It's crazy. It's so beautiful. It's an amazing feeling to have.
I bet, because you're leaving this incredible legacy. So, I mean, just loved around the world. My side is the film critic, I'm the film side of it. So I'm excited to see this continue on the big screen and at home. And you should be very proud of what this incredible legacy. So, and I feel honored that you spoke to me today. So I thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You have a beautiful day.
You too. And I'll see you when the movie comes out, because we're going to talk again. Okay.
You got it. See you next year.
Thanks, Aaron. Take care.
See ya.